Using I to rewrite square roots of negative numbers. In this topic, I've provided 3 different examples. You will be utilizing the calculator, and hopefully you've picked up the one that I recommended because it will make life a lot easier for this topic. But if you haven't, we will go through the long way to find the answer on some of these. So the first one we've got the square root of negative 15. Now, if you remember, the square root it's a number times a number. So in other words, 3 times 3 is 9. So the square root of 9 would be 3. Okay, so knowing that, there is nothing that's going to give us a perfect square to come outside of the radical. So what we're going to do is, of course, the 15 is going to stay, but we have this negative sign and we don't want it there. So anytime you have a negative sign, it's going to actually come out of the radical and it's going to become an I. So we've got I square root of 15. And so that is the answer for this particular example. Because again, the 15 cannot get broken down any further. And again, the negative sign underneath came out and became an I. Okay, so we're going to look at this middle one. Again, there's a negative, so we know it's going to come out and it's going to become an I. So I'm going to go ahead and write that now. And as we do this, the square root of 121, you always need to check to make sure that every number that you have is square rootable. So when you're using your calculator, you're not putting the negative in, you're just going to be putting the number in. So you're actually going to punch in square root of 121. Remember, you may need to press second, so it would be with second. And if you're using the calculator that I recommended, it's the X square button. So right above that should show you like a blue square root symbol. So you'd press second, the X square button, and of course then you'd press in your 121 and press enter. And it should give you 11. So your answer for this one is going to be 11I because we had that negative underneath the radical. Okay, the next one we've got here is we've got negative square root of negative 32. Now the key with this is we've got this extra negative here. And that's literally what it is. It's an extra negative. So to avoid confusion, we're going to just bring it down automatically. Okay, so that way we don't have to mess up or forget it or anything like that. We are simply going to bring that first one down. The next thing we're going to do, of course, we've got that negative underneath the radical, and we've talked that it comes out and becomes an I, so we're going to put an I here. And notice I'm kind of leaving a gap here because I know that the 32 can be broken down. Now, of course, if you're using your calculator, you would press second. You would press your X squared button, and you'd press 32, enter. And you would get 4 square root of 2 as the answer. Okay. Now, of course, if you are not using the cool calculator that I recommended, to break this down, of course, you need to find the perfect square that goes into 32, which is 16. So 16 times 2 gets you 32. And the square root of 16 is 4, which will come out of the radical, leaving you that 2 underneath the radical. So your answer for this last example is negative 4I square root of 2.